people, welcome back to another bookish video. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this one, but I let you guys pick my cottage TBR, blindly pick my cottage TBR over on my Instagram stories. If you want to be a part of the fun of choosing what books I read in future videos, make sure you're following me over on Instagram. But I'm excited to go through this and go through my little cottage TBR with you. Basically, the cottage drive is like 3.5 hours, and then we're going to be there for 3 days. So basically 5 days, with 2 of them being driving days, which I know I'm going to read the entire 3.5 hours and be a passenger princess while Alan drives. My minimum goal is to read 3 books, but I am going to be bringing 5, and I let you guys narrow it down. So let's just jump right into it because I am so excited. There's so many good books on this little TBR that I just want to get right into the goods. Alrighty. So starting off, basically what I did was put the 2 books side by side. I colored in the covers so you guys couldn't see them, and I tried to associate the color of the cover with the color that I colored it in, and then chose 3 emojis that I kind of thought associated or represented the book to give you guys a little bit of hints of what the book was about, or just like if you could guess what the book was. And a lot of you guys did guess some of the books. The first one was a pink cover with a boat, suitcase, and wave against a gray cover with the blood, ace, and then a little spy emoji. And those 2 books were Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. The one that won was Meet Me by the Lake by Carly Fortune, and I am so glad that you guys picked this book. I think just because the emojis were like a summery, beachy vibe, it makes sense, but I think this is going to be such a cute dockside read, and I love that it is about a girl from Toronto who basically moves back home to her parents' lakeside resort in Muskoka because my cottage is just a little bit past Muskoka. So this is so aligned to be reading at the cottage. I'm so excited. Next up was this navy cover with a horse, sparkle, and then the twins emoji against a red cover with the fire, eagle, and black heart emoji. Those 2 books were Caraval by Stephanie Garber and Ruin and Rising. And this poll was the closest by far. It was 51% to 50%. So I am going to be bringing Caraval with me. I am so excited. I have had this book sitting on my physical TBR for, I want to say, almost 2 years. So the fact that I'm finally getting to pick it up as well as read it at the cottage, I think is just going to be a lot of fun. It may not be a summary read, but I love a good magical trial-esque book. I've heard that the way that Stephanie Garber writes is really magical, and she really just entrances you in the world, and I love a good book, especially a fantasy that really sucks you in and brings you into that world. So I'm definitely excited to give this a go. I also think that the premise is really interesting, of the fact that it's about these 2 sisters, and one I feel like we're not even going to really learn much about at all in this book because she's basically the prize of the Caraval. Like, she is hidden, she is away, people actually have to go and find her, versus I think the book is a little bit more about the other sister who's been dreaming of taking part in the Caraval for like her entire life. So excited to give this a go. For the next poll, it was a orange cover with a sun, sunglasses, and a little beach umbrella against a blue cover with a vampire snake and then a little moon emoji. Those 2 books were Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez and A Serpent and the Wings of the Night by Carissa Broadbent. And I'm kind of sad that you guys didn't pick this book because I've been so excited to read it. I've heard such amazing things, but it is not on my August TBR. So we are bringing Just for the Summer to the cottage. I do think this is going to be a really cute dockside lake little read, and I'm not gonna lie, the poll for this one was insane. Like, it was like 65 to 35%, whereas most of the other polls were a little bit closer. This one was like by far the winner. And when I picked this book up and I saw that it had a Reddit thread on the back, I was like, yes, your girl loves reading a good Reddit thread. This feels so me. I also love that it's a little bit of a fake dating trope, and that they're trying to basically break each other's dating curses, and it just sounds kind of cute. So I'm actually really excited to read this little romance. Next up, I did a red cover with a heart, crown, and sword emoji against a black cover with the witch, purple heart, and skull emoji. And those 2 books were Lightlark by Alex Astor and Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. And I might get a little heat for reading this book just because I know a lot of people really don't like it, but I'm actually very excited to read it as well as bring it to the cottage. I have been on Book Talk since before this book was published and have kind of followed Alex Astor's publishing journey and just the way that this book has grown up. I don't know why I put off buying it for so long. I think I just wasn't reading a ton when it came out, and now that the trilogy is almost finished, I'm like, okay, you know what, it's fine, it's time. And also the fact that this book literally was $11. I'm like, how can I pass that up? In Canadian book girly terms, that is a friggin' cheap book. Our paperbacks range from like $20 to $25. So the fact that this was on sale at $11 and it's like a beautiful paperback copy, like there's literally nothing wrong with it. I was like, why are you on sale for $11? Besides the point, a little bit of a side rant, but I got it for very cheap, so half the reason why I picked it up, and I am very excited to read it. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of my guilty pleasure, but I know some people say that the writing isn't that great. It is another magical trial book, so clearly I have a theme, and so do you guys for picking this book for me. It is about this island that has this competition every 100 years for the different realms to go and break their curse. So basically every realm has a different curse, and I feel like the premise is very unique and very interesting, but I've just heard that she doesn't deliver on it that great. Regardless, excited to give it a go. And then for the last two books, I did a purple cover with a sword, crown, and broken heart, and then a yellow cover with a globe, book, and magic wand. Those two books were Powerless by Lauren Roberts and The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake, and this one actually won, which I was really surprised because I was like, I guess you guys want me to read like a worldly, bookish academia novel, which I am not a big like academia based novel reader, but I have heard such amazing things about Olivia Blake's writing style, and as an academic myself, I've heard that she just writes very poetically and uses some very big words and has a great vocabulary. So I am excited to finally read an Olivia Blake book. I am kind of surprised that this is the first one that I'm going with because I have wanted to read One for My Enemy for a while, but this is what we are going to be starting with. In essence, it is a fantasy light academia. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's a dark fantasy, but basically there are these 6 chosen kids that get sent to this world-renowned secret society, and they basically get told that only 5 of them are going to make it to the end of the year. So in essence, one of them has to die somehow. And I think that in itself sounds really, really interesting, which is one of the things that gravitated me towards this book. I also have never read a secret society or like magical academia book, so definitely outside of the realm of what I typically read, which is also what drew me to this book. I am definitely trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit more with what I'm reading and poking in different genres and different topics, and this is definitely up there in terms of like different things that I've read, but excited to give this a go and take it to the cottage. Alright, so to sum up, these are the 6 books that I'm going to take with me to the cottage. I feel like I almost like sped my way through that, but we have 2 adult romance and then 3 YA fantasy fiction-esque books, and 2 of the fantasy fiction are actually magical trials. That'll be interesting, and then the 2 romances are also cutesy little summer romances. So this is the TBR pile that I'm going to be bringing with me to the cottage that you guys picked out. If you want to see a full reading vlog from this, stay tuned. I will be filming reading during my trip and doing a little reading vlog. So if that is something that you guys like, be sure to stay tuned, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's so much more bookish content coming in the future. I am just getting started, but I love you all so, so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!